Hello everyone, this is International Master Robert Jamieson from Kids Unlimited in Melbourne, Australia. Now, in my last video, we had a look at three positions from Magnus Carlsen's games where he sacrificed material to activate his pieces and get the initiative. So I thought I'd like to continue on with that theme and show you one of my own games back from, I think, in the 1970s in a Winter Inter Club competition against a guy named Kim Hassel, who was an ACT champion, if I remember correctly. Anyway, I'm the stronger player. I'm playing black. Now, our job, if we want to beat our opponent, is to try to put him under pressure, unbalance the position, and hopefully we can outplay him or he'll make a mistake as we go along. All right, let's see how we start. He plays e4, I play Sicilian, I play the knight c6 line. Okay, now I've given up the center, I attack his e-pawn, he defends, and now I play my favorite opening, the pelican variation of the Sicilian with e5. So the good part about e5 is I've now got a foothold in the center. I've got a bit more space. The unfortunate thing is I've weakened two squares, d5 and d6, squares which cannot be attacked by a pawn. So if he could establish an outpost there, I could be in a bit of trouble. Now, I find that when I play this against weaker players who don't know opening theory, more often than not, they play knight b3, and black just plays bishop b4 with a good game. He's going to get in d5 pretty quickly. Lives happily ever after. But unfortunately, my opponent here plays the correct move, knight b5, threatening to jump into d6, pawn to d6. Now, the normal move is bishop g5, but there's a lot of complicated theory with that I knew reasonably well. So I guess my opponent wanted to go to a more offbeat line, and he played a4. All right, what to do? Played h6. Now, you're probably thinking, well, Robert, that's not a developing move, and the pin's no big deal because you can just play bishop e7, get out of the pin. Why are you wasting a move playing h6? All right, this all comes down to understanding of the opening. Now, as I mentioned before, in the pelican variation, black has a weak square on d5. And basically, the opening is a battle to control that square. If, for instance, I can get in d5 and get rid of my backward pawn, everything's usually pretty good. If he can establish a piece there, then everything's pretty bad. So I don't really want him to pin my knight and take my knight, the defender of the d5 square. He's going to have a nice outpost for his pieces. All right, so that's why I played h6. All right, bishop c4, chases knight away. Knight goes away. Now, I could go bishop e7 and castle, but I thought I would challenge his bishop. Now, some of you might say, but hang on, Robert, wait a minute. Can't he take, and you've then got the dreaded double pawns? Well, the answer is double pawns are only dreaded if they're weak. And in this case, my f-pawn has moved closer to the middle, and it's now controlling two center squares. And not only that, but I've opened up the f-file a bit, so when I castle, my rook will be on a half-open file. So I'd be quite happy if he took me and gave me double pawns. But he decided not to do that. He occupied the hole on d5 with his bishop. He wants to end up with a piece there. So if I swap everything, he's going to take back with a queen. There's still a hole on d5. All right, rook c8, castles, bishop e7, bishop e3, castles, f3. All right, now this is looking pretty good for white. He's castled, he's got his pieces out, And he's got more space on the queen side, and he's got that hole on d5. So what can I do to fight him, to try and get the initiative? So remember, I'm trying to get the initiative, put him under pressure. I think it was English Grandmaster John Nunn said something like, so long as my pieces are cooperating, I don't much care about anything else. So that's your job, is to get your pieces cooperating. All right, so I decided to take, takes me back. I took him again, took me back. Now, if he can cement that hole, like say d1 or something, I'm going to be up game and a bad bishop. But I have a move that's a little bit controversial. Knight b4. So I'm saying to him, would you like a free b pawn? Okay. What do you think? Should he take the pawn or not? He had a bit of a think and decided it was a bit risky. Maybe I scared him off. And he went back to d2. But taking the pawn isn't so bad. What would possibly happen? d5 takes my knight, takes the queen, counterattack on the bishop. And now I think I'm forced to perpetual his queen, and we might probably have a draw. So he could have taken, but I bluffed him out of it. So he went back. And now I'm very happy because I play my freeing move, d5. Remember I said before, if I can get in d5 in the Pelican, normally I'm pretty happy. But you might think, hang on, Robert, this could be a boo-boo. What if he does c3, attacking my knight? Or when the knight moves, he can just take the d pawn. All right, looks like a worry, but I've got it under control. I play d4. Counterattack on his bishop. All right, he takes, I take, and now I'm giving him a free pawn. Why am I giving him a free pawn? Good question. I'm trying to activate my pieces. He has a choice. He can take with the bishop or take with the queen. Let's have a look. Probably the queen's the best one. I would go here. Knight in, threatening bishop takes bishop. We would have a position something like this. Black's a pawn down, but he's dominating the center and sort of sitting on white's position. I think I'd rather be black. But he didn't take with the queen, he took with the bishop. Now, queen a5, attacking his a pawn and threatening rook f to d8, pinning his bishop. He runs away, attack the bishop. Now, he has a move that probably leads to slight edge to him, but again, he has choices. And unless you're a computer, you're not going to always find the best move. Probably he should play the sneaky move queen here, threatening mate in 1. And I can't play rook takes bishop because this rook's on pre. All right, but he didn't do that. He played bishop c3. All right, white's still a pawn up. My pieces are pretty active. I could take his a pawn perhaps. Have a look here. Pause the video if you like. What would you play as black? I think I played a pretty good move here. We decided. I put all my pieces in good spots. Right, so now in chess, as usual, tactics rule. The first thing you have to look for is tactics, your opponent's and yours. And here I have a tactic. What is the tactic? Rook takes bishop. Okay. Now, is this a Magnus-like sacrifice? Because I'm going to give him an exchange start and somehow my bishop will be better than his rook? No, this is a normal type sacrifice where I invest a rook for a bishop and get more material back. Let's see what happens. Pawn takes rook. Knight attacks queen. All right. Queen can't go to e3, obviously, because of bishop c5. Queen goes back. And now the point of the tactic, I take his knight. And now he can't take me back because queen check is going to pick up the rook. All right, pretty sneaky. Hope you saw that. All right, so he runs away and high. So now I have a one game. All I have to do is win it. So bishop here, rook here, another pawn. Thank you. Runs away. Knight back. Looks like a slightly dodgy move because he plays rook here. Bit annoying. Putting my pieces under pressure. But everything's under control. What would you play as black here? He's attacking your bishop, so your options are clearly limited. Have a little think. Have you decided? Okay, again, tactics rule, and I have a sneaky tactic. Hope you saw it. I play rook d2. Looks like a super move because he can take my bishop. So it's the normal deal. An average player would say, what would I like to do? Hey, I could play rook d2 and attack his queen. And he then think, oh, no, hang on. He takes my bishop. No good. Go back. Think of something else. Whereas a better player says, I would like to play rook d2, attacking his queen. Oh, he attacks my bishop. But wait, do I have anything now? Or is this horrible and I go back? So the better player looks that little bit deeper. And in fact, I have a sneaky move here. I hope you can see it. It's not too hard to find. Yes, I deflect the rook away from the defense of the queen. Grab the queen. And now, of course, I have a one game. And he gave up. All right. Interesting little game. A couple of nice tactics. But the main point was black was striving to activate his pieces, get them cooperating, put his opponent under pressure. My opponent didn't always play the best move and ended up losing quite comfortably. So I hope you can apply that sort of idea to your own games. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.